Are live. My man, thanks for jumping in here. I'm going to pop onto my phone and make sure we are broadcasting across the nations here. Let's see how the feed is going. And happy Friday to all of you who are tuning in. I see that we are live. The feed is in.
Live, baby.
We're live. We are live. So happy Friday, everybody. It is an honor and a privilege. You know, we've got all kinds of things kind of moving and shaking behind the scenes here at Healthy Primate Headquarters. Broadcasting. Oh, look at this a little dual audio here. So behind the scenes, we have lots of different cool things going on. And as we prepare for a very pivotal event that's coming up June 24th and 25th here in Arizona, it's called the Meltdown in the Desert. I'm going to introduce our speakers, and we're going to talk through who they are, what they do, and the impact that they're going to make on the events. And as we get started in this, it is an absolute pleasure and honor to bring in my man, Tommy Baker. What's happening, Tommy?
Hell yeah. Thank you, Kolby. Thank you for before we get started, I just want to acknowledge you for being such a great connector. You know, I see people tag you and stuff, and they're always saying how you go out of your way to connect people and lead by example, dude. So first off, let's make sure we appreciate you before we get started.
Oh, man, I thank you, dude. It means a lot. You know, Tommy and I had started our relationship. We met through our social circles, kind of running in the same crews, and had the opportunity to meet Tommy probably about a year and a half ago. Tommy's got a great show, and he'll tell you what he does, but I had the chance to come on his show. And I don't know a ton of people that show up every single day regardless. Tommy shows up every single day. I'm on his email list. I'm on his feed. I see what he's doing on social media, and it's like every day.
You're sick of me, dude.
Dude, like, no, you're just hammering it. Like, you're just, you know, as our buddy Jim Stagg says, you know, you're chopping wood every single day, and you're consistent. So, you know, from an introduction perspective, we've known each other, and, you know, what I would love to do is, you know, tell the people here who might not know who Tommy is. Give me your bio, Tommy. Who are you, and what is it that you do?
Hell yeah, man. Well, I started out in the fitness industry with brick and mortar gyms, and you know, I quickly, that was my initial passion. But once I built the gyms, I found out, you know, I got to get really good at crafting a message. And really, if I had to take a high level on what I do these days, is that I create a lot of content that helps people find the message inside of themselves, whether that's a business person, a person in a relationship. It doesn't matter what the context is. But everybody's got a message, a story that is really special, but because it's theirs, they have a hard time expressing that. And so if I had to categorize my kind of high-level zone of genius is taking that out of people and presenting it to the marketplace in a powerful way. And of course, I do that with my own content, with my podcast on iTunes, Resist Average Academy, where we interview top people. We've had yourself as an alumni. But we go a few levels deeper than the typical motivational podcast because newsflash, and Tim Ferriss just said this after his Tools of the Titans book. You know, after he wrote that book, he said, listen, man, there's nobody in this book who doesn't deal with daily struggles, weekly struggles, insecurities, and doubts. And the whole mission of the podcast is to kind of let our guards down, go a little bit deeper, and just give people the perspective from these stories that can help empower their lives. So I do that. I have my, I still have my fitness business online, Tommy Baker Fitness, and I also write copy for people. And again, it goes back to taking a message and positioning them in a powerful way for their marketplace. So that would be my Cliff Notes version.
I love it, dude. What does that say behind you on the whiteboard?
Oh, it says, no bullshit, what would it take? And so every week I have, you know, it's written all over the place here. I try to just put messages in my environment that are kind of pertinent to the moment. And that came from Tom Bilyeu from Quest Nutrition. And basically what he's trying to say with that, it's like, let's get realistic about what it would take for you to achieve your grand vision, right? And so put it all on the table. And when you say no bullshit, that means you're not judging it, you're not being emotional about it, and you're being real about what it's going to take for you to achieve your vision instead of living in a fantasy land. So I put that to remind myself to show up every day, like you said.
I love it, man. I love it. Last year, you had the opportunity to be in the audience for the Meltdown in the Desert event. What was that experience like for you? And tell people a little bit about what you saw from an event perspective and what was going on around you.
Hell yeah. I think one of the coolest parts about the event was the feeling of this very like-minded tribe and community. And at that point, most of the people, it was really like one of the first events where, I knew all the speakers, I knew the organizer, of course, but I also had virtually connected in some shape, way, or form with almost 75% of the audience. And so to me, that was unlike any other event, right? Because any event, you got to take some time to get to know everybody, and there's that kind of awkward moment. But this time we went right into it because it felt like such a family because we had all been connected. So it was really cool to see all these connections that had been made virtually in person. And I think that allowed the connections outside of the event, not, during the breaks, during the pre-cocktail party, all that stuff, to go a couple levels deeper, right? And it really gave it this tight-knit community that is like-minded. And I always go back to the word tribe, and that's what it felt like, a like-minded tribe that was there to support each other, to learn from each other. One of those communities where you're just buzzing after.
I love it. That was kind of a byproduct, right? I didn't anticipate that. And for those of you tuning in that weren't there or don't really know what it is that we're doing in June, we're taking the best of social media and the best of entrepreneurship from personal brand to business brand, and we put together a 2-day workshop where we've got some of the best coming in and sharing their stories and their experience, and then we're actually going into tactical workshops to help you not just take ideas and get excited, but actually do stuff with those ideas in this room setting. Really excited. We've got some huge sponsors that I'm about to finish. We have to go through the contracts, and we're going to be announcing this year. A big piece for me is supporting the communities that have supported me, and Tommy being on the podcast side of things and having a podcast. I did over 125 podcasts last year, and that community could be one guy who's just starting out with him and his buddy are the only listeners to somebody like Tommy who's got a global following, and he's getting thousands of downloads every episode. And I support that community. So we're doing a dedicated area this year that's called the Podcast Lounge, where it's an application process. You apply, and we're going to do you're going to be able to broadcast live for a day and a half. Imagine being able to have access to the speakers. And as well as I do, the people coming, there are some heavy hitters that just come to attend. So they're going to have access to some of the people in the community to actually put on their shows. So exciting stuff that's happening. I'll put the links in so you guys know where that is, and also how to find Tommy. Tommy, last year you were as a participant, you were watching and observing. This year, I'm so excited to say you're going to stage. For those of you, for people that are going to be in attendance, what are you going to be talking about, and why should I be paying attention?
Hell yeah, man. And I want to say thank you for that opportunity. I'm already setting the groundwork to deliver as much value and connect with the audience that's going to be there as much as possible. For me, it's going to be about, I think a lot of what you talk about is in business is idea to execution. And a lot of what I see in the personal development space, in the information space, I see a lot of people reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, going to other events, but they haven't turned that information into results. And I was that way as well. I've spent over $120,000 on my own development, and I'd say that with pride. It's not like a weird thing. It's like I always say, have the audacity to invest in yourself because no one else is going to. Right? None of these corporations, none of these celebrities, none of these people outside of yourself is going to invest in yourself. And so my message is going to be crafted around that, and how does that actually how to take that information, how to take that knowledge and turn it into who you're being, right? And because when you're shipping some type of message, whether it's just to your local family, whether it's to your local community, maybe just on Facebook, people can see through the bullshit these days. And if you haven't adopted the principles, if you're not living the principles, then there's going to be a huge disconnect. So I'm going to teach people how to take that information and literally implant it, tattoo it into who they're being, that's authentically aligned with their values and who they want to be, not someone else, and then showing up as the most powerful self, and the ROI that's going to have on every area of their lives.
I love it. I love it. So, one of the things that I really wanted to make sure we cover from a panel perspective is just like our time at Phoenix Startup Week. Every single person on that stage has a different set of expertise and does something completely different, but it's all connected from mindset to body to being to business. All of those things all kind of connect. So, man, I'm super excited to have you on the stage with us, dude. It's an honor to call you a friend and to see you grow and blossom and all of the impacts that you're making, because every day you're showing up. In conclusion, dude, where can people find you?
Hell yeah. Best place is Resist Average Academy on iTunes and resistaverageacademy.com, which is officially launching next week. So if you go there, it'll go into my fitness site right now. But I got a new platform launching, a lot of cool stuff happening. And I just can't wait to connect with all these people. Showing up is important. And these relationships that you have, for anyone who's like on the fence or doesn't know what this is, a lot of people ask me, we were just Startup Week and I got off stage and someone's like, hey dude, like, how'd you meet all these people? How'd you meet Kolby? How'd you get into this? And I'm like, dude, you gotta go to the places where these people are. And it's cool to connect with people virtually, but that's only 1/10 of the depth of the relationship that it's going to take for you to start building your own tribe like this. So if anyone's on the fence, this is like a no-brainer in terms of cost, and getting out here is easy to Phoenix, Sky Harbor, super simple. So put yourselves in situations where you're going to connect with like-minded people. Come to this event, engage, learn, ask questions, approach the person, even if you have resistance, because that's what's good. That stuff, those experiences are going to lead to massive growth in your life. So I just encourage anyone on the fence, because I've been on the fence with events, and now at this point I've gone to like hundreds of events in my life. And each time I created lifelong relationships or lifelong insights and stuff that changed my game. So put yourselves out there and come to the event. No questions asked.
Well, dude, one of those things that we're going to do some showcases of kind of a year in advance. We had some really cool businesses that formed because of the Meltdown. Conversations that happened at the pool, conversations that happened at dinner. A guy who runs a very successful wine business met with another buddy of mine who runs a very successful real estate business. They came together and said, listen, we want to start a fund that the fund can be for entrepreneurs and small business. They took that idea. That idea went live when I was in LA with actually the real estate guy. He got a call. The fund went live, and in 4 days, they raised $1 million. Goal is to have $10 million in that fund. That all came to be because of the Meltdown and having conversations. So to your point, surrounding yourselves around like-minded people and taking advantage of that opportunity, it's awesome. Tommy, as we close this up, my dude, I love some of the new features. I want to say, I don't know if this is going to be Healthy Primate TV or Kolby Live, but yeah, one of the things that I love are some of these interactions. And I'm going to pop up some of the comments because they're blaring through.
Yeah, what we got? Let's do a little.
Chris giving us a shout out. My man, Adam. What else do we got here? Oh, great show. Yeah, dude. I love it. I love it. Adam back in. My man, Patrick Gill. Great to see you. Oh, look at this, Jim. Had the privilege to sit at the same table as you, Steg, Austin Cooper, and Daniel Brooks. That's it. Look at that lineup. Look at that lineup of people. You've got yourself, Steg, Jim Steg from Jim Steg's Custom Home and Pools, who's just smashing it. Austin Cooper, who owns Sober Revolution. And then Daniel Brooks. I mean, that's a heavy hitter table to be at, dude. Jason Legard, Melting Faces. Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do, part 2. Podcast Lounge. I know Jason's going to be there.
Podcast Lounge. We're going to have all these awesome podcasts. We got Resist Average Academy. We got the Mindset Mountain. We got Order of Man. We got Rules of Success, Bryce Prescott. And we got more coming. So it's going to be awesome.
I can't wait, dude. Chris Time Batista. What's up, my brother? Sending love.
Your own guru, son.
Be your own guru. Nick Tills giving a shout out. Truth, Tommy. Cheers, fellas. Ryan. What is up, Ryan? Order of Man. I got your message, Ryan. I'll shoot you a note after this. Dude, we're going to get you on here soon. And I'm super stoked to have Order of Man in the house. Dylan Ali doing our thing, fellas. That is what we do. And on behalf of myself, the Healthy Primate, thank you so much for tuning in this Friday live broadcast. Our time talking about Meltdown in the Desert with my man, Tommy Baker. Have an awesome Friday. We will see you on the flip. Peace.
Can't wait to meet you in person. Meltdown in the Desert Part 2. Let's do it.
That's it.